Welcome to Always Honest, where two friends unpack the beauty and chaos of faith, family, and everything in between, one honest conversation at a time. Have you ever said yes to something and immediately regretted it? Ever felt resentful, exhausted, or walked away from a conversation thinking, why didn't I just say what I needed? If you've been struggling to draw the line between being kind and being used, this episode is for you.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about boundaries, what they are, what they're not, and why so many of us were never taught how to have them. This is going to be a short but powerful message. But first, mood check. Leah, where are you at on a scale of rainbows and sunshine to the clouds rolling in?
I mean, I guess rainbows and sunshine. I mean, it's not
It's
not like anything amazing happened, but I just,
uh-huh.
again, whenever the sun is shining, it's like, how can you feel bad? Like, I just love getting outside this time of year. I love our state this time of year and planning all the day trips. We went to the lake yesterday and I just love this time of year.
Yeah.
What about you, Madeline? Where are you on a scale of rainbows and sunshine to clouds rolling in?
Yeah, I would say sunny. Yeah, life feels we're in that summer mode right now, so I do love it. Like the pressure is off a little bit and the day can kind of be what you want it to be. I'm really enjoying, like you said, being outside and
Your garden is flourishing.
it feels almost messy to me now, like all the green, like it's beautiful, but I'm like, I don't know, like it's almost
Now you have to do something with it.
yeah, but it's so fun. And we did eat some beets, which I feel like beets are like a love or hate thing, but we love beets. And
Your kids love beets?
no, just me and Scott. But I'm a vegetable girl. Like I love almost any vegetable. I've never tried artichokes. That's like the one I've
You've
never
never tried them?
no.
Wow.
But like I'm like, give me all the peppers, onions, mushrooms, zucchini. Like I
Mhm.
love all that. But we ate the beets with dinner and I was like, is it in our heads that it's better or is it actually better than like a can, from the grocery store? And Scott's like, I think it's better. And I'm like, I think it is.
I just want to know from
Mhm,
you,
mhm,
what is your understanding of boundaries? When were you made
mhm,
aware of them? Do you feel like you have good boundaries? What's been your journey with that?
I think from like teenage years, I saw myself having to set boundaries, like maybe your friends are doing something, boys are wanting, like, I don't know, just like in life, you're like, you learn quickly, you gotta say no, or um, the world can kind of overtake a little bit, or like, you're not even doing things you want to do if you don't learn to say no. So I think I saw from a young age, like boundaries needed to be in play just as a young girl. um, and then now as a mom, I'm seeing it so much with setting boundaries with my children, and um, seeing how they actually crave boundaries. They so it's
Well, when I think of boundaries, I mean, you're right. There's there's moral boundaries, I
mhm,
guess you
mhm,
could say. And so I think because of that, I thought that I had boundaries because
mm,
as a teenager, I was only willing to do certain things or I was not willing to do
mhm,
certain things.
mhm,
So I thought of myself as somebody that has boundaries. But as I got older and realized that I was exhausted and resentful and
mm,
saying yes to things that I
mhm,
didn't want to commit to,
mhm,
commitments, time commitments, relationships, and giving of myself,
mhm,
then I realized, oh, I don't have boundaries when I started to learn about what that was in terms
mhm,
of protecting your well-being and your space and your time.
mhm, mhm,
I learned more about myself and that I particularly need more time to process things
mhm,
as an HSP, a highly sensitive person. So HSPs need more time to process.
mhm,
And so I wasn't giving myself time to process. I
mhm,
wasn't giving myself the space that I needed to feel rejuvenated.
mhm,
And I remember one of my counselors saying, "What rejuvenates you?" And I was just like, I don't even know. Like
mhm, mhm,
I hadn't even
mhm,
considered it because
mhm,
I just kept going and
mhm,
giving and giving
mhm,
until I had nothing left. So
mhm, mhm.
anyway, hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's one of the ways that I learned about what boundaries are and that I had none.
yeah,
And
yeah,
did I answer your
yeah,
question?
yeah.
I don't know what your
So
question was.
how have you how have you started to integrate boundaries? Are there areas that you can now say, like, I am setting boundaries and
Yeah, definitely. So over the course of, I think it was 2021, is when I started to cut out things like social media.
Mhm,
And so I noticed a big difference there because my nature was that I have to do it
mhm,
because there's people who want me there or expect
mm,
me to post or expect me to be on theirs. And so there's all these expectations that I was letting make decisions for me.
mhm,
But then, like you said, I had to ask myself, is this what I enjoy? Is this
yeah,
what I want? And although I enjoyed aspects of it, it was leading to burnout. So
yeah,
that was just one thing that I
yeah,
had to cut out. And
yeah,
just not saying yes to everything that people asked me, which I think we talked about in another episode. I love a variety of things. I love doing graphic design. You know,
mm,
I'll do graphic design for people
mhm,
or making their website or doing interior design, helping people with their rooms
yeah,
and I would just say yes to any project
mm,
because I enjoyed it, but
yeah,
then it took away from my family. I think probably what helped me realize that I needed to have boundaries is because it wasn't just me anymore.
mm,
It's like I got to look out for my
yeah,
family. And so it's one thing to deplete me, but then I was depleted for my family
yeah,
and I
yeah,
couldn't do that. So it took me a long time because I wanted to be kind and I didn't want to hurt people.
mhm, mhm,
And so now I feel like I'm at the point where I can see that it's okay if people are disappointed if it's what I need,
mhm,
and I can tell the difference between needing and being
mhm,
selfish,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
So because I was worried about being selfish, but I can kind of feel the difference.
yeah, good. Yeah, because I think that's what keeps people from saying no is we like to make other people happy.
Yeah,
And because it feels good. It feels good to bless other people and to be there for them. And but there is that point where you start to feel like then it's like because I look at it like if we are giving, being led by the Spirit, if we're giving, it should bless us. Like we feel, you know, like if someone is depressed or lacking joy, it's like my aunt always tells me, go bless someone else, bake someone cookies, bring them something, write them a card. eh, You know, so
get out of your
yeah,
um, navel gazing is what I've heard
yes,
some people call it.
yeah. Um, but after that you feel, yeah, you feel refueled almost. So then when you start to feel like grumpier with your kids or grumpier with your husband, or, it's like that's when it's time to take inventory of what can I cut out. And um, yeah, I truly don't believe, even as Christians, where we're meant to serve um, and be generous and give our time and stuff. I don't think we're supposed to be empty by the end of the day.
Right.
I mean, even Jesus like would go off
Yeah,
and leave his disciples, and they'd be like, "Where is he?" He's like, he's taking time. He doesn't need
exactly.
to. And that is such a lesson itself. Like, you know, God himself
Yeah.
needed to take a break on earth, like and just be alone. So, do you want to share with us a time where you remember drawing a boundary and seeing the benefits of it?
I think that a lot of people could relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
It would be Mother's Day
Oh,
because Mother's Day, we have to have boundaries
okay.
because it's a day where expectations are all over the place, right? Anyway, so I decided what I want for Mother's Day is just to be by myself. I want my own
Wow.
space. I want to not have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And some of my family get together
Yeah.
for Mother's Day, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how they want to spend their time.
Mm-hmm.
And although I feel guilty not going and being a part of it, I
Mm.
have to say, that's not what I want. This is a time, especially when I need to look at what I want, or I risk being walking away from Mother's Day being resentful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I should clarify, I didn't mean I didn't want my kids
Oh.
around.
Oh.
I just meant I didn't want to go do something social. Like I
Okay.
wanted to be able to be with my kids if I wanted to, like just be do what I wanted to do.
Got it. Got
You
it. So
know,
you
like,
don't okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't wanna go do someone else's plans, is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and there were
Yeah.
some plans that were being made with the assumption that I would do this on
Yeah.
Mother's Day,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking, "I'm gonna do what I wanna do on
Yeah.
Mother's
Yeah.
Day."
For sure.
One thing that boundaries are not is it's not pushing people away.
Yeah.
It's not an opportunity to hurt someone
Yeah.
or
That's good.
to say what they're doing is not okay.
Mhm.
It might be, but
Yeah.
it's just it's an opportunity to recognize your limit
Yeah.
of what you're willing, how far you are willing to go
Mhm.
and what you're willing to put up with
Yeah.
and then what you're not.
Yeah.
I would say a boundary is, I mean, we have perimeters around our house that
Mhm.
keep us safe, and it lets
Mhm.
people know they can only go this far, and you're not being mean. You're not
Yeah.
using it to hurt people, but you're just saying, this is as far as I can go before I feel unsafe or something.
Yeah.
And so I think that boundaries are just limits that if you go further than that, just realize that you're taking a risk. You know, you're potentially inviting something that you might regret or might wear you out. Who knows? If you cross that boundary, it's a violation, I guess.
I think that's so good. I think that's such a good reference of like when you cross a boundary, think of it as you're entering a danger zone, kind of. Whether it's just burnout from volunteering too much or something, where you're like, then you're depleted for your own family, or whether it's in your marriage, you watch a certain show because, oh, it's not that bad. And then you're in the danger zone of lust or comparison, or, it's not setting a boundary because you think you're better than that thing, or because, um, it's setting a boundary to keep your either relationship safe, your children safe,
Well,
yeah,
and I love the example that you used of Jesus stealing away time to go
yeah,
pray, because what I noticed when I created boundaries for myself, once I healed and got that time to rejuvenate, then I could say yes out of a
yeah,
place of love and not obligation.
yeah.
And then it was joyful, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
much more fruitful
Mm-hmm.
and much more of a blessing to
Yeah.
others than just
Mm-hmm.
saying, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
So to sum it up, boundaries are not walls, they are doors
Mm-hmm.
with doorknobs that you control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love it. I like it. I thought maybe we could even mention like maybe a listener is wondering, okay, then how do I say no? How do you politely say no?
Okay.
And I thought about like when your child is like, "Can we go to the park?" And the answer might be no at the moment. It's like because I am terrible. Like I'm always like, "No, no." Like I just like say no. And it's like pausing and saying, "That sounds so fun. We can go tomorrow." Or we can, so if your friends invite you for dinner and you're like, "I don't want to do that." It's okay to say, "Thank you so much. That sounds amazing.
Right.
Invite me next time.
Mhm.
I'm feeling full right."
Yeah,
You
validating
know?
their feelings, acknowledging the kind offer,
Yeah.
the idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
We
That's
don't need
really
to be
good.
afraid of saying no if we kind of like, my aunt also, she always says sandwich it between like a compliment and then get to the meat and then like another thing where it's like, "That sounds so fun. I'm not up for that. Thank you again for the invite." Like where you're
Your
like,
aunt sounds wise.
"She's lovely. And she
Mhm.
listens. So hi."
Yeah,
Uh,
hi.
but no, it's so true. Just like kind of positive, positive. So
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah. And boundaries don't have to be mean. It doesn't mean that
no,
you're being mean.
for sure.
Short mama wisdom.
Yeah.
Mama, here's your reminder that boundaries aren't you being mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's you being honest. You're allowed to protect your peace
Mm-hmm.
without explaining it to everyone. And when you say
Mm-hmm.
no, you're saying yes to what matters the
That's
most.
so good. Love
What
it.
can I say?
Thank you, Leah. That's wonderful. Thanks for hanging out with us for a quick and honest chat. If this episode helped you, send it to a friend who needs a little boundary boost.
Next week, we're diving into time management, how to stay on top of life without feeling like you're drowning. Until then, stay honest.
Bye.